It's delightful to be here today with Simon Martin, who is the founder of the Oliver Agency.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about what made you found the agency.
Well, it was about 2004, and I guess I got the entrepreneurial bug. I'd worked for a big corporate for 16 years, was really well trained by them, but really wanted to do my own thing, and saw the opportunity to develop this model. It's pretty unique in the industry. So did it. Launched the agency. It was me, my laptop and my phone, and lots of fun. Last 12 to 13 years.
For those who don't know, explain a little bit about why it's unique, because I was reading about what you guys do, and it's a little bit hard for me to understand as well. I feel like you're almost like a recruitment person for other companies, because it's like you put the creative agency into the other companies. Is that correct, or am I getting that completely wrong?
Right. So we clearly need to work on our own branding and marketing. No, I think to some degree there's an element of truth there, but it's nothing like recruitment. This is a fully managed service. It's exactly what you can really expect from an agency. So all of the work and services that you get, that brilliant strategic and creative ability, as well as production and output capability. But we do it really within a client's world. We become part of the world, become their own dedicated agency. So it's our people, our process, and our technology fully being managed and in the heart of their business, really close to them, doing things faster, doing things better, and doing things more effectively and efficiently.
As of the last year, in-house agencies are becoming more common. Why do you think it is that suddenly this is on the up?
Well, I think the dynamics of today's world are that brands need to really differentiate themselves with great insights and great work, but they need to do it much faster. There's also massive stress and pressure on budgets. You've got things like zero-based budgeting, but you've also got just the demand to do more and create more content and execute it in a more efficient and effective way. So what we believe is actually by putting really talented creative people right by the side of the clients, we can help make the client more productive, but we can make our people, the agency people, more productive too. And that whole dynamic really results in doing things better, faster, and for less money.
Obviously, that's a lot of pros for why you should have an in-house model. What are the key resistances that people object to about having an in-house?
Well, I think, the main resistance is it's unique. We're the only company in the world doing it, so they don't really have an appreciation for the opportunity. So they're so used to and ingrained in working with agencies the way they've always worked. So they have to go through this process of assimilation, trying to understand why and how it would work better and be different, and actually just go through that proof point. But we have so many clients now that are doing this, and so many proof points that prove it, and clients sort of get that when they see it in action, see it working. They can really see and feel the difference. That resistance evaporates. We're a global agency now, so we're in 35 countries. We have over 1,200 people. It's growing very fast. We're winning new deals every month. In fact, we won over 2 deals a month last year, and it's accelerating. So we work with some brilliant global brands doing great work, and we work really well with other agencies as well. It's not necessarily an exclusive proposition. We work very collaboratively with both the marketers, but also other agencies that are adding real value to our clients' worlds.
Are there any trends that you're noticing in different regions of the globe that you operate in with regards to how they operate their agency models? Yeah,
I think about 5 years ago, I was quite sceptical as to whether it would work in emerging markets and really fast-growing economies. But actually what we've shown recently is that particularly in those markets, it is absolutely relevant, where money is scarce, but there's huge opportunities. So what I would say is the trend is globally consistent. It is happening all over the world, whether it be in the really developed, mature economies with quite complex labour laws or quite difficult tax laws. It works really well there, and it really works well in the BRICS and the emerging markets, where there's just so much to do and so much opportunity for brands.
I saw that you made a comparison between the Asian and the European markets, for example.
Yeah, I think well, clearly a lot of those markets are they're very mobile savvy. There's lots of the consumers are very digitally savvy. savvy, much more so in some ways than the developed world. So, brands need to create brands need to create a lot of content. They need to optimize that content. They need to get it at the right place at the right time, and it needs to be culturally relevant. It's taking sort of culture and building that culture through really engaging, dynamic content that really enriches their consumers' lives and builds loyalty and advocacy in their brand. So our model really works for that. You can create brilliant work and really influence baby audiences by bringing relevant material to their world.
And when people are picking their agency model, what do you think are the key business priorities that define the way that they go?
Well, I think the dynamics now are getting more value for money, being more effective, still creating brilliant creative work that stands out and differentiates a brand, and getting it in the right place, and connecting with culture, connecting with consumers. But fundamentally, you've got to be able to do that effectively. Budgets are being squeezed. There's so much pressure. It's a competitive world, and brands need to be able to respond to that. So the demand now from the old days of largely purely TV or above the line and some local below line activation, those days are gone. It's now just all about what channels you can activate through and how you can take a brilliant idea and make it resonate really well with your audience and connect with that audience. And that requires a really smart way of working. And that's what it fundamentally comes down to. It's reinventing and disrupting the existing industry so that we actually become more relevant in the way we can deliver work for brands.
This is where we're at now. What do you think is the future for the agency model, for your agency model?
Well, who knows? The market forces are at work. The industry is being disrupted in all sorts of different ways, largely because the end consumer is changing the way they interact. Well, we've got so much disruption going on in all walks of life, in all walks of business activity, in all walks of marketing activity, and that pace of disruption is absolutely going to accelerate. It's not going to plateau. There's a lot of fun and interesting stuff to be done in the months and years to come. So, what does that mean for models? It means that they're absolutely going to change. Change is a permanent thing. And I think the really successful businesses, the successful agencies and brands are going to embrace that, and they're going to be able to disrupt their own success. They're going to be able to continuously adapt and change at the pace that they need to in order to stay relevant and differentiate in their worlds. We have an underlying philosophy in our business, and we call it market orientation. And to be a market-orientated business, so therefore always relevant to the world, you've got to do three things all the time. You've got to be hugely relevant to your and deliver benefits to your audience. Whoever you're providing services or products to, it has to be relevant to their needs today. You can't be relevant for yesterday or 10 years ago. It's got to be relevant for today. So a sustainable client benefit or a sustainable consumer benefit. The second thing you've got to do is you've got to have competitive differentiation. Your product's got to be different. Your service has got to be different. And the third thing you've got to do, you've got to be operational capable. You've got to be able to deliver on the promises you make to your consumers or to your clients. And that is at the core of our business, and that should be at the core of what we think every business in terms of the way they think about the world. Be market, be externally orientated.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for talking to us, and it'll be interesting to see where we move in 2017.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.